Matti HAAPOJA says he's going to quit YouTube in 45 days. Why do I think that's important, and why do I think it's vital for me to make a video about it? Let's discuss it. What's up, guys? How the heck are you doing? Welcome to today's video. If you're new here, my name is Drewxcifer, and on this channel I talk about filmmaking, photography, and editing tips, tricks, and tutorials with the occasional vlog thrown in there as well. So if that is your thing, then you are in the right place. And today's video is no exception because we are talking about something that sort of bums me out, but it is extremely important for us to talk about it and analyze it as filmmakers here on YouTube. So let's get into it right now. So have you guys seen the video by the camera and filmmaker YouTube Matti HAAPOJA where he's talking about he is going to quit YouTube in 45 days or the 1st of January 2024?
You may have heard the word on the street, or maybe not, but as I'm filming this, there are exactly 45 days left till I quit YouTube. It's true.
If so, that's what we're talking about in today's video. And if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link down in the description. Hit that link, go check it out. His video is only 4 minutes long. Come back and watch this one because that is exactly what I want to talk about in today's video. So there's two main reasons I want to talk about this. One is because I really like Matti HAAPOJA and his content, and it sort of bums me out that he may be walking away from YouTube. Also, reason number two is I think it's important for us as filmmakers and photographers to sort of start thinking about and analyzing why the bigger YouTubers that are in the camera space are starting to walk away from YouTube and why they're not getting gratification from this platform any longer. So if you don't know Matti HAAPOJA and his work here on YouTube, he is one of the OGs in the camera industry part of this platform. He is somebody that started out doing simple travel videos, and that evolved into what he is now, which is a channel that garners over 1 million subs. And, you know, he started doing those simple travel videos that turned to educational content and daily vlogging to him now producing feature films. You know, needless to say, I've always been a fan, and that sort of is one of the reasons why I'm making this video, is I want to analyze the thoughts behind his most recent upload, because not only has Matti's career been exciting to follow, it has been extremely inspiring as well, especially if you're somebody that is trying to create a career here on YouTube as a filmmaker and photographer. So like I said, when I watched Matti's latest video about quitting YouTube, it really bummed me out because Matti's channel was one of the few channels that I could always go to and know I would get unbiased and real opinions on new camera equipment or things going on in the camera industry. You know, his channel always felt genuine and authentic, and he always brought sort of a positivity that some of the other channels didn't have. And to me, that is something that's really lacking, not just on YouTube, but in the camera industry altogether. He always seemed extremely stoked to be making his content, and his branded content never seemed scummy or like a cash grab like other creators' videos do. And I really always appreciated that. Also, like I said, he's been on YouTube for a long time, so going to his channel always just felt like a much simpler time on YouTube where the bar for entry was a little bit lower, a little bit less flashier. It wasn't all about brand deals and millions of dollars. It just felt like hanging out with a friend and felt like you were getting, like I said, real information. You know, it just felt nice to visit his channel. The good old days. You know, the days where you could upload a camera video about tips and tricks and people would just be stoked on it. Even though many creators talk about leaving YouTube, many of them rarely ever follow through with it. They say this a couple times a year and they always come back and do the same song and dance over and over and over again. But one of the things that sort of shocks me is that Matti HAAPOJA is doing this because, like I said, he seems very genuine all the time and very authentic. So I sort of believe him when he says he's about to get the f*** out. And he hasn't only said it once, he's been hinting at this for a while. About 2 months ago, he uploaded a video called I Don't Want to Be a YouTuber. And it was him talking about how he doesn't really care about making YouTube-centric videos anymore. You can watch that, I'll link that down below as well. But he's basically talking about how he's, you know, lost sight of being a filmmaker in his life. and how he really wants to pursue filmmaking, and his uploads are going to get a lot less frequent, which they have, and they're probably going to stop altogether at some point so he can focus on different aspirations that he has as a filmmaker in his life. And even in this video, he vaguely talked about leaving YouTube. So this is something that he's been, stewing on for a long time now. And with his track record, I have no reason not to trust him. I fully believe that if he says he's going to leave, he's out. So in addition to this, I've noticed a lot of other big YouTubers, specifically in the camera and filmmaking space, uploading less frequently, or just, stopping uploading altogether, walking away from their channels, or doing hard pivots to other things. Even somebody like Peter McKinnon, who's buddies with Matti HAAPOJA, he uploads way less frequently than he used to, and a lot of times his uploads aren't even about photography, aren't even about filmmaking. They're about whatever. He started a second channel, right? Pete's Pirate Life. Peter Lindgren, who had a filmmaking channel, started a vlog channel, and he's talked about on his channel about, using his vlog channel, and that feeds that creative side of him, and then he has the business side of him that is, I guess, his main channel, right? Probably where all of his revenue comes from. There's been a lot of channels like this. If you know of any more, drop them down in the comments. But, that sort of strikes a chord in me and kind of makes me wonder why this is happening. Why these certain camera YouTubers reach a certain level of fame, notoriety, and popularity, and then they just walk away from it. It's kind of interesting, and I think that there's something for us to analyze there. But let's put a pin in that for a minute. So let's go back to Matti. So for Matti, he talks a lot about being a filmmaker and wanting to pursue filmmaking. Everybody already looks at Matti HAAPOJA like a filmmaker. His subscriber base does, which is 1 million plus people. They also look at him as an editor and a photographer and a content creator and a friend, right? And I think that, for what it's worth, that if he was to harness his filmmaking career that he is striving to have or justify to himself, create those films and upload them on his YouTube, that would probably feed that justification that he needs, because I think that if he creates a film and uploads it on his YouTube channel, he'll have a better chance of more people seeing that than even some Hollywood directors, Hollywood producers do on opening weekend by just putting their film in, into theaters, because he has a loyal fan base, a supportive fan base, and he has a big fan base, like I said, of 1 million plus people. So I think if he was just to take those aspirations he has and really niche down on that on his YouTube channel, I think that would probably justify and, maybe feed that aspiration he has of being a filmmaker. I think even if it comes down to the fact of putting his films behind a paywall, I think he would see, a good recoup on his investment of each film, because with, like I said, how supportive, how big, and how loyal his fan base is, if he says, hey guys, I created this feature film and I'm going to throw it up here, I need you guys to either go over here and rent it from Amazon Prime for $20, or go over here to Patreon, or even here on a channel member and pay $5 to see it. Whatever the case may be, I think he would recoup most of his investment, if not all of it, just by judging, like I said, how loyal his fan base is. So, I think that if it's something dealing with that, I think that is a good way for him to justify that filmmaker side of him. And then, there's a whole thing of working in the Hollywood system and working on professional film sets, which I don't know why anybody would want to go from like having YouTube popularity and fame to working on a Hollywood set, because Hollywood and all of that has a whole level of political bullshit that you have to deal with. It doesn't matter if you're you, me, or Roger Deakins stepping on set, you still have to answer to the studio heads, to the directors, to the producers, to the executive producers. It doesn't matter. So I think if you can take your ideas and you can put them here on YouTube, I think you're better off for it. That's why a lot of filmmakers and celebrities and stuff are coming over to YouTube, is because they see the freedom that it brings without the political hierarchy of being in Hollywood. So from the outside looking in, like I said, I don't know Matty personally. I just know what he talks about here on YouTube, but it seems like he already has what he's pursuing. And I think that him talking about leaving for, however long, maybe for good, I think is really a missed opportunity for him and for his audience, right? To see him grow as a filmmaker, because, it is always interesting to see the story of somebody's greatness. And, if he goes on to produce or direct or write or shoot the greatest movie ever made, it would be nice to see how he got there and see the story of, and even join him on the journey, because sometimes those behind the scenes, sometimes those journey of stories are greater than what the end result actually is. So the last thing I want to talk about with Matty is, like I said, he always comes off as authentic and genuine, and it's going to suck if he leaves the platform, because he always brought that, like I said, positivity and that authenticity to the camera part of YouTube that it is sometimes lacking. But, whatever he decides to do, I'll support him either way. So in his video, he did talk about that if he leaves YouTube, it will provide him the opportunity to spend more family time. And to me, that's huge. And I think that is something that I definitely need to talk about. And I think it's something that needs to be put on a pedestal, people that have that family first mentality. Because I think it's very important. And I think if that was his only reason for YouTube, I probably wouldn't be making this video. I'd be like, hey, that's great. It's understandable. Amazing, But I think he mentioned that secondary, like leaving YouTube will also provide him more family time. He's leaving YouTube to focus on filmmaking. And great, more power to him. Like I said, I don't know what all goes into his personal decisions, because I only know what he shares on YouTube. But if it is actually just filmmaking related, like I said, he has his audience here. He has his supporters here. He has his customers here. That want to be part of his filmmaking journey, and that want to buy what he has to sell along the way, and that want to buy tickets to his films, and that wants to learn from what he is doing along the way on his filmmaking journey. So just throwing that out there. So for the rest of us, for me and for you, I think it's important for us to understand why these bigger YouTubers feel this way, especially here in the camera part of YouTube. Why do they fizzle out? Why do they get so burned out? And why do they just want to walk away from a platform where they already have 1 million plus, hundreds of thousands of fans, customers, eyes on their work? Granted, if it's going to give you gratification and you're unhappy, and I understand burnout's a real thing, but I would like to open it up for discussion. If you guys want to comment down below and let's talk about it a little bit more, and what do you think? Because I think ultimately at the end of the day, right, you have to be happy. And if leaving YouTube is something that makes you happy, by all means do it. But if you're trying to pursue a trade or a field where you need people to watch what you're doing, it seems like you want to harness, your following you already have here, and you don't want to leave that behind. Like I said, way more could go into that decision than what I know. But I think for you and I, the sooner that we unpack this and the sooner that we learn lessons from these bigger YouTubers to find out what we need to do to prevent us from hitting these hurdles later on in our YouTube careers, to keep us from making a hard pivot, right? I think we need to really focus in on what our passions are and niche down and have a focus, right, on what it is that we want our career here on YouTube to be, so we don't run into issues later on to where we feel uninspired, we feel unsatisfied, or we feel like we need to leave the platform to get gratification from our art, So I think for me, that's the biggest takeaway that I'm you know, taking away from situations like this and that I'm learning is, okay, well, there are a lot of things that you can do in the camera space on YouTube. Tips, tricks, and tutorials. But there's also a lot of narrow focuses within those, right? And I think it's important to identify what it is you want to do so you don't run into a position, you know, like a lot of these big YouTubers are that paved the way to where they're just like, I'm done, I'm checking out, I'm uninspired, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, so I think just identifying what your goals are, what your ambitions here are on YouTube, and where you want your career to lead you is extremely important. And I think that's one thing for the rest of us to figure out. So, Maddie, if you ever see this video, amazing. I just want to let you know that thanks for the years of, you know, the tips, tricks, and tutorials. Thanks for the inspiration. Thanks for the positivity you brought here to the camera part of YouTube. And just want you to know that I'll support you on or off the platform, wherever you wind up. I know you'll kill it wherever you go, and just find a way to update, you know, your fans, whether that's popping in from YouTube time to time, Twitter, whatever the case may be. That way people know, you know, how we can support you, because you have a lot of people here in your corner. Everyone else, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like what you saw, then make sure you check out the rest of the stuff on this channel, because there is tons more like it. And you know all those links down in the bottom, you know how to do all those different things, but the most important one is hitting that subscribe button, because that lets me know it's real. And as always, guys, stay rad, just go shoot, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.